So Gary, tell me, what was your real estate business and personal life before EXP, and what is it like now?
Okay. Well, before it was actually pretty good. For quite a while, I was traveling the country where I was working for another brokerage company, and I was trained to be what's called a certified presenter. So I was traveling around and teaching a particular subject at all the different offices, and that subject was how to work with investors. And this is not the no money down, low down, no down stuff. It's real legitimate investors, people with money that make good investment decisions and own properties and keep them long term, because that's where the money is for them and for us, the agents. So I figured that out, and I used to have a brokerage before I did a merger. That was actually with Keller Williams back in 2012, and got on board and I was asked to teach at what they call a market center. So I did that, and boy, that just took off. So for several years, I traveled around, and it wasn't a KW subject. It was my own subject. It was my own material, and and was living the life, doing having a great time, and making good money. And I got to see the whole country. It was pretty awesome. And then when the pandemic hit, everything went online, and I'm okay with that. But I wasn't traveling anymore, and I one of my visions was I one of the I used to have a brokerage, and it was very successful. I mean, we grew sixfold during a recession. It was crazy. I mean, people were trying to buy us, Caldwell Banker, Remax, you name it. Everybody was trying to buy us, and I wasn't selling, But finally did a merger. In any case, that model was what I carried forward, and brought it into the KW world. I built a team, by the way. I had agents in 3 states and probably 11 different market centers, and it wasn't like a formal thing. It was just an informal kind of a team arrangement, and I fed them a lot of leads. And but the problem with that was it was all based on referral, and trying to collect those referral fees was a huge pain in the neck. And I really got tired of it, and ended up not doing that anymore, because I was, quite frankly, so busy teaching and training and coaching and making so much more money. I didn't need to do that anymore, so I stopped doing it. But in any case, I missed being close to production. I don't need to be in production, like opening doors, but I mean close to the transaction. I like the thrill of identifying, analyzing, negotiating really good investment deals. It's what I was born to do. It's my superpower.
Right.
So I approached the old brokerage about forming a national team, and they'd gotten too big and corporatized, and they said basically, no, we want you to just follow the what they call mega team expansion model, and do my thing through maps and all that. But none of it was a good fit, and I tried to tell them that, and ended up speaking to the former president of KW about this, and he's the one who said, you got to go to EXP for this, to have a national team without all the barriers that traditional franchise model is imposing. And so that's the problem, is in every other model, it's a franchise model. And it means they've got the big company, then they got regions, and inside the regions, they got individual offices, all independently owned and operated, and they all want a piece of that pie. Well, believe me, you can only dice up those commissions so many ways. And when it was all said and done, I'm looking at this mega expansion team model. These guys, the poor agents, making like 22%. I'm like, that's never going to work. So finally, and people called me from EXP, and I, just like a lot of people, didn't listen, because I was told it was this and that and the other thing, all of which was not true. I found out later. And for example, I'll tell you, they said, hey, it's a cloud company, blah 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 blah. Operations is cloud based, but not sales. On the production side, we're still out there, humping and pumping like everybody else, and we're doing quite well, quite frankly. But because they centralized operations, where the company, the corporation, acts as the broker of record for all of us, state by state, that allows us, the entrepreneur, to really build our brand and model our way. So it's great. If you're an entrepreneur, man, this is the place to be. So in any case, I made the move 2 years ago, and didn't really pay much attention to revenue share, because I had profit share at my last company, and I was doing okay, but I couldn't live off of it. It wasn't anything to get super excited about. It was like a few dollars here and there, and that formula they used was really, kind of they it was, you were able to find it publicly, but the way they administer it was kind of a deep secret. They have the certain way you could move money around legally, within your balance sheet, to make income look less, so you paid out less in profit share. See, profit share there was based on net profit, right? Which is
Right.
at the end of the line where there's not much left. Here at EXP, it's based on gross receipts coming in the front end, gross revenue. You can't fudge that number. It is what it is. It's public. You can see it, and you get paid a lot more. So as a result, I'll give you an example. I've at about the 2-year mark, I thought I'm going to compare. I made a revenue share at EXP versus what I made in profit share at the last company, and we're talking 2 years time at EXP versus 8 years time at the last company. And what I made at EXP in 2 years was 26 times more than what I made at the last company
Wow.
over 8 years. And I had 78 people in my downline there. So it was not like some small thing. It was
Right.
a huge difference. So now, of course, I pay attention to revenue share, and it's part of the model. I tell everybody, I'm going to teach you how to produce. You're going to learn how to invest yourself, but you also need to build up your other passive income stream, which is revenue share. Because if you don't, it's like saying no to money. I mean, it's literally that easy. And our production has stayed. Actually, our production went up in December, which is crazy because everybody else's production went down. So I actually made more in revenue share. I mean, I'm laughing, but it's just, you know, I wish I'd have done it 5 years ago. People approached me in 2017. And I'm like, no, why would I go to a company with 3,000 agents when I'm in the biggest company in the world? And, there was years I was making, 7-figure incomes. So, I had no reason to leave. Life was good. But I tell you, life is way better now. I mean, I don't have to travel like I did. When I travel now, it's because I want to. I work from home. I have agents in 26 states. In 2 years, I accomplished that. I could have never done that in the last company. I knew people still there that have big teams, but they're in like 3 states and 7 states and things like that. To go to half the country in 2 years, you can't do that with the franchise model. So in any case, it's a great environment to really grow and pursue your vision for whatever your vision is, because the company not only makes it possible, they help you do it. They get behind it. I never get a no. What I get is, let's see how we can help you accomplish that. That's phenomenal.
Big
That's an
difference.
entrepreneur's model. So sorry, Andre, I went kind of long on that answer there, but it's a great question, and it's so um, uh, profound when you really consider the facts and look at what's going on. I mean, think about it. Every other company, every one of them, is making adjustments to compete with DXP. Now, when they do that, and every other company is coming up with the bad negative talk to combat it, it's just like the old days in Honda. When the commercial came out with Honda, everybody's shooting arrows at Honda. Well, that's because Honda is what everybody wants to be. If they can't be it, the only thing they can do is try to badmouth it. So I know from experience in life, whenever that happens, whatever the company is that they're all talking about, go check out that company. you know. So that's finally what it did. The person who talked to me, by the way, is named Dana, one of my best friends in life. He's another broker, and he's the first person that knew how to actually speak with me, because he knew how my brain worked. He knew what to say to me to get me to actually give myself permission to listen and learn. When I did, my first thought was, man, I'm a dummy. I should have done this at the time, 3 years before. Now it's been 5 years when they first approached me. I just didn't see the video. I wasn't listening. And thank goodness I did. So I would encourage everybody, don't ever say no to any opportunity until and unless you check it out thoroughly. And then you're making an informed decision. Whether they say yes or no. The point is intelligent, successful people check out the opportunity thoroughly with the right people. I mean, I talk to people all the way to the top of the organization, and many of them I knew personally, and I'm like, why did you come over here? Well, enough of those conversations validated what Dana was explaining to me, and thank goodness that I did that. So hopefully that didn't take too long there, Andre.
Well, that's awesome. Thanks for sharing your story with us, Gary. It's inspirational to me, and I'm sure many people that will watch this. Any last thing you want to mention about how your life has changed in the last 2 years?
Oh, yeah. I mean, for me, I finally get to do the thing I like to do, is I'm a natural born teacher. I love teaching and training and coaching. And I finally have the environment where I can do that. And it's literally what I do. It's my show. We've won awards, and I'm not the only one, by the way. Robert Paperny got it also. He's one of my counterparts up in Ontario, Canada.
Right.
That is extremely rare for two people in close proximity to get that. But it's because I brought in the right people. When I talk to people, we have a great conversation. I find out if there's a match. And when you put these good people on the right systems, you are going to get phenomenal results. And that's the other thing too, is the systems are so much better. I mean, my gosh, the contact management, transaction processing, so much more streamlined and efficient. And EXP does much of it for you anyways. You just put the thing in there and they help you manage your transactions. I never saw that anywhere where you didn't have to pay for it, But I would tell anybody out there, right now the market is changing, and you've got to look for the platform that's going to help you produce the most given the current economic environment. And I'll put a plug in there for investors. Boy, if you're not working with investors in a real meaningful way, like you understand the terminology and methodology, you're missing a huge portion of income. You can't just treat them like any other client. You've got to understand the mindset. There's training involved with that. But when you do, you don't care what the economy does. I mean, you care, but whether it goes up or down, you're always making money. I mean, statistically, you'll make 4 commissions on average for every investor versus only 1 for owner occupants. I mean, I'm a math guy, and that sounds like good math to me, and that's the path I follow. So I would tell everybody right now, do not panic. This is not time to panic. It's time to prepare, right? Do yourself a favor, explore the other opportunities, and make sure whoever you go with is going to truly and meaningfully help you succeed and grow as a person. And that's what I found here. This has been the biggest transformation, is I'm actually living my dream life doing this,
That's fantastic, Gary. Thanks for sharing your story with us. I'm proud to be business partners with you, and thanks again for your time today.
You're welcome, Andre, and thank you too. I mean, as far as support goes, I mean, you've been the absolute best business partner I could ever hope for. I totally unexpected, and but really just tremendous results. And Lord knows I didn't get here by myself. I definitely had help from people just like you. That's the other thing. The unwritten truth is there's more support here than I've ever experienced anywhere else, and that includes my own brokerage company, by the way. And it just goes up the line. It's amazing the number of people that are there to help you. Just all you do is you ask. It's amazing. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I really appreciate the kind words, and yeah, it's been life changing for us all. Collaboration, the support that we get from each other because we're all owners is amazing. Thanks again, Gary. I appreciate you.
You're welcome, Andre. Take care. God bless.
God bless.